while that's going on, okay, hold on. So while that's going on, you need a trim or an asset list. Asset lists are simple. They basically tell you and me and anyone involved with the project what you're going to actually make. That saves time and energy and frustration from happening. So an asset list, if we look at that right here, for my thing that I'm working on for my seniors, this right here is something I'm blocking out, basically telling me what it is that I'm going to be making so this was AI generated, and then I drew over that to come up with like a really quick concept for a environment. By looking at this, I'm saying to myself, okay, what do I actually need? Well, I need bricks for a wall. And instead of doing the brick wall like we did in our texturing class, what if I make a singular brick and stack those up? It may look more organic and like it's kind of falling apart. The mortar has kind of crumbled away, so these are a little bit more dynamic looking when they're like that. So brick walls, flags, square boulders. I need floor tiles or whatever there. I might need some grass and some vines and friends. Everyone needs more friends, but I should spell ferns better. Ferns. There we go. So all these different things are great to have, and this is not on that shot. There we go. So you can kind of see this asset list. This can be done in a bunch of different ways for you guys. I just want a list, whether it's done in Sheets or it's in Excel. You guys have like Windows stuff for free that you can just log into your email account and go to the Windows stuff and use Excel. That's fine. But by doing this and listing it, you're going to be able to get everything kind of understood a little bit faster. Now realize that when I did this, I'm not saying I need this flag and that flag or this brick wall and that brick wall. The reality is, and we already saw this happening for some of you, you had a bunch of models that you're duplicating over and over again. You're not going in and making out like 15 different boulders and like 37 different cockroaches. You're going to have one, you're going to scale and modify it. Now, unique pieces that are hero pieces, like Qt has a lot of different, very specifically shaped things. That's where the time and effort of making individual pieces come into play. But if it is something simple like grass, you don't need to make each unique grass blade. Duplicate, translate, rotate, and scale to make varied pieces. That's the best way to go. So how do I make foliage here? Well, this is like a sage bush, or very similar to actually sort of what Qt was doing, but not 100%, where these are going in one direction here. And as a matter of fact, if I were to scale it, you can see how they're rounded. If I duplicate this, it's not going to look great, but you can kind of see that if I were to, I don't think I can bring these together, but if I had those together, they can kind of look like they're overlapping there. So this is only one piece that I was doing, and it gets very intense on how much is there. As a matter of fact, let's go to Windows, or display heads-up display and poly count. So look what our poly count is. I've already got right here that many triangles. That's a little scary. So we might not want to go that far. If I take off the smooth preview, that's a little bit better. But if we think about making an environment with that many things going on, Sketchfab might have a hard time. So we want to think a little bit more minimalistically on that. But if I look at some of these other things here, let me first take all this and get it out of here. Ooh, okay. How can I make grass? This is tall grass. Let me hide this. So I got tall grass here. If you want to make grass for your piece, now this is to make a 2D trim sheet just like our African violet, and then we'll make cards. We're not going to go that way. We're actually going to make the models, but here's an easy way to get grass blades made. If I go to create sweep mesh, so I'm going to go into my CV curve tool, and I'm just going to draw out something like this. Now, one thing I've noticed by making grass a few times if I do it like this, I don't want to have extreme curves. I want some minimal curves on there, but just enough to show some directionality of the blade. Now, if I take this and I go into here, create sweep mesh, look at that. That's gross. Let's change it. Let's do a line. Okay, a little bit better. Let's scale it. Even better, but where's my curve? Well, under precision. So under mode, start to end, and then taper. So there's like sort of a grass blade. Now we can kind of adjust this too. We were looking at that with the extrude. So with my taper curve, I can even say, okay, you can be like this for now, but I'm gonna go at the end, you're gonna taper here, and then right before the end, maybe you're gonna be like this. So I can kind of simulate the grass blades a little bit more like this. Now it's still a little chunky. There we go. What do I got for poly count? Okay, it's 40 triangles for one of these. So with my sweep mesh, I might want to say if there's steps on here, how can I get away with as minimal of this as possible? So even something like this might be okay for if we're going to bring this into Sketchfab. Because right now, if we think about this, we're going to put a lot of grass in our scene. Multiply 6 by, I don't know, 5,000 grass blades that you're doing, right? So that's going to be 30,000 triangles on there. It should be able to handle that, but it can add up quickly. So now I have grass, and if I were to delete my history on this, I'm going to center my pivot, change it so it's at the base, rotate that thing up, and let's see, what if I duplicate, scale, and rotate this? Now, the more I have of varied versions, you see I have a lot of these different ones. Those are just by drawing out different CV curves. So I can do that and then kind of stack these together. So maybe they'll be near each other like this. I want you to see something though, because this is the one thing Maya does that is kind of annoying. Not a big deal for now. By default, it's just going to do this to us though. If I look at the other side of these, we got Shadow Link, right? We're in the Shadowlands. Not the same. So when that happens, don't worry about it. It's going to work fine in Sketchfab, but for the way Maya's default renderer is, it just kind of makes that other surface look black. But if I populate this with a bunch of these, there we go. I can take all this stuff, combine it. So now, if I take this, duplicate, move, duplicate, move. Yeah, and so I'll look up to see if we can do a paint this, but this is kind of how we can get that going. Go into my bonus tools again, in my modify, and then my randomize transforms, and then let's just do a rotate, and I only want that on my Y, so 0, 0, rotate. So now they're all kind of rotating differently. And then my translate is fine, but my scale. So I might only want them to change on my Y. So let's go 0 on this, 0 on this, and let's go 2. So I can kind of vary that up. So now I don't have these looking like they're the same so much. Now it's not 100% yet. I can go in new seed and then do some more to that. And so I can really populate this with some varied pieces, new seed, and then do that. So now I have a completely different look to it. Sometimes you have to do this a little manually, so you might need to change some of this out. But now, yes, I could see some of that rhythm right here. So the trick is not going too crazy with that. But I can easily get these things to populate the scene in a nice way. And what's cool about all this, so I just went through all this effort and laid this stuff out. But if I take all these and I'm going to combine them, duplicate. So now we have even more stuff that we can duplicate save over all of our work, and then never get it back, which is what I just did. And then go over here and then start to populate some of this. Now we have like this whole area that I'm not losing my mind trying to individually make grass blades. I've populated this using lots of them. It's always a good idea to think smarter, not harder in 3D. Lots of stuff can hurt us because we go down a path and then don't realize how ambitious we were on that, and then we give up. So there's better ideas. Think about your process and go as best as you can by using certain tricks like this. But look at this. I've populated all these very quickly. Now, last little piece and then we'll be done right here. See his leaves? Too many polygons. This is 772 polygons. Ouch. However, we can do something pretty low. And let's say that we do have to make some branches or some trees. So this is, again, using the sweep mesh. So I used the sweep mesh and I tapered it and I went out like this. Now, it's at an angle for a whole other reason because we're doing this to fit inside of a trim sheet, which we'll do next year. But I also took that, duplicated it, and then I made this one. So I just changed a little bit of that path. What we can do after we've got a lot of these is let's make a leaf, but we are not going to go to the point where we're going to bog down the operating system or Sketchfab or whatever we're doing. We're going to go with a simple leaf shape. So if I go with this, if it were a Bon Jovi song, we would be halfway there. You could. Usually with the plane, by default, it gives me more quads than I want. So I'm so used to deleting things out like this. But yeah, you could definitely do that. So I've got to this point, which is far better. And now, if I want to have this connected, I'm going to even skip the idea that there were like a twig attached to that. Do this. I know it's way more low poly, but why I'm telling you to go this way, you're going to have a lot of them. You're not going to bog down the system. And so you can just easily kind of adjust these like that and then get those going. Now, if you want to do this even faster, what if I take this and then I make not only one leaf as I go, but another leaf on the other side? So I have them kind of already laid out like this. Now, if I perform a combine, and let's say that we're going to put them on a stick like this, if I have this, and I have my pivot point right in the middle, that's going to allow me to go over here, put one down, and there we go. Duplicate, put another one down, and then just keep going. Right now, this looks like a pattern that may not look so great for a organic surface. It looks a little bit too mechanical because it's repeating like this. However, once we get these in place, so let's say this is where we want these to be. Select all three of these, separate. Okay, that didn't want to separate the right way. Let me separate that one, separate this one, and that one. Okay, so now I have these all individually separated. I'm going to take all these. You also are separated. Thank you. So these are going to go into our bonus tools, modify, randomize, advanced, and then now, no translate, no thank you, but rotate a little bit and maybe scale. Now notice it's doing some weird stuff to me. I can't really take advantage of this yet. When I go into this, and so this is up to you whether or not you want to go through all this, but it is worth it for that final step. If I didn't combine these, I kept them separate, I would never have my pivot point reset. Every time we separate, it resets to origin. So with this, we would just want to go in and then snap our pivot. So that's kind of the one negative, is I tried to save time by making two, but then I ended up having to do this annoying process. So I would recommend don't make two at a time, just do one. It'll save you a lot. So like this, bring another one over here. Or do it like this. Take one and then two, duplicate, move it over, and put it in position. So that way you're not having to worry about all that extra stuff. So I have all these and their pivot points in the right spot. Now that I did that, bonus tools, modify, randomize transforms, and then scale. So we're going to make sure that's doing a little bit of stuff on there, a little bit. Rotate. There we go. And now it's randomizing these rotations on here as well. So I can really kind of get all these to feel like they're laid out in a different way, each and every single one of those. So that's how I would do leaves for a complex scene like this. If you're doing a lot of leaves, you would never want to hand sculpt all of them. It would just be way too much. All right, I'm going to let you guys keep on going.